Johnson, you have 3 minutes.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon, Mayor.
Good afternoon.
City Council. My name is Private First Class Johnson. I came here to discuss transgender inequality, starting with the topic of whether transgender males should be allowed to compete in women's sports. And the right thing would be no. Why? Because it's not fair to all the other great athletes that did things the right way and had to work a little bit harder in order for them to accomplish what they accomplished. So the answer will be no. But that doesn't mean that they can't compete. It just means that they require something that we haven't done before. So what I propose is this. I propose the National Transgender Olympics, a sporting competition where members of the LGBTQ community, aka transgenders, compete with other transgenders from all countries worldwide. Why Olympics? Because I doubt that they are only interested in one sport, so you may as well just give them every sport at once. The competition will have to be separated into 2 categories. Transgenders that were born as males will compete with other transgenders that were born as males, and transgenders that were born as females will have to compete with other transgenders that were born as females, and that's how they will compete. Why should we do any of this in the first place? Because it allows them to be who they are. Why should they be allowed to be who they are? Because if you don't, it's going to lead to depression and ultimately suicide. And second, because it's nothing wrong with who they are. I feel as though they are treated the way they're treated in the first place because they're not what you want them to be. But just because they're not what you want them to be, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're doing something wrong. The only way their true potential can show itself is if they are allowed to be who they are, just like Elton John, just like Prince, and whoever else in the world looked at as if they were different. But because they were allowed to be who they are, that's the only reason why they turned out to be as big as they were. And the same thing should be done for transgenders, pretty much. A reality that we have to come to terms with when we have kids is that there's a good chance that that kid will either be gay or trans when they get older. And regardless of what they are, it's our responsibility as the parent to support them as best as we can, regardless of who they are, as long as it's not dangerous to themselves and or others. Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Thank you.
The next speaker is Elizabeth Crawford. Ms. Crawford's topic is the massacre on Mount Calvary. Good afternoon, Ms. Crawford. Star 6, please, to unmute your microphone.